Hello my friends, and what is up? Ultimus here tonight with you, bringing you a little bit different of a video than we normally do. Normally we just do kind of quirky, fun PvP clips and little things that I find interesting or enjoyable, or that I don't feel like are getting enough attention and are worth bringing to your guys' attention here in World of Warcraft, especially having access to the beta. But what I want to do tonight is bring you a little bit of a different video, in that I want to kind of talk about warriors. I give my opinion on warriors, where they're at, where they're going, my 2 cents on all of that. What you're going to see going in the background is going to be some 2v2 skirmishes and some Ashran footage going, just to kind of hopefully keep it somewhat entertaining. I've edited and cut and pasted a lot of the scenes and areas of just walking around, so there's a little bit more PvP action there, so not as much boring walking around. So hopefully you guys enjoy that. You can totally zone out and just enjoy the PvP. That's totally fine too. You're not going to hurt my feelings, I promise. But a couple things I did feel like we should address before we go any further in the video. And that is, first, I really wasn't sure if I should be doing this video. Should I just keep my mouth shut? Is it worth it? Maybe, I don't know. But hey, I figured, you know what? Take a chance. Why not? What have you got to lose? So in this video, I'm going to be giving my opinion. Yeah. Scary, I know. Please keep in mind, again, this is just my opinion from my experiences on the beta as I've played a warrior. Doesn't mean it's the absolute truth. There could be some things and factors I'm missing, so please bear with me. But again, it is just my thoughts on it, and I'm okay being wrong. Thought this would be kind of a fun, different video to throw out there. Some other things, again, keep in mind, I'm not a top-end, rank 1 gladiator warrior. I'm not a 2400 ranked warrior, although I am going to set myself a goal for next expansion to try to shoot for 22 to 2400. So hopefully that will be a thing. I'm an average to good player, I would say. I feel like I'm confident in my skills as a player. Nothing else is as fun to me as my warrior. I've played an enhancement shaman throughout Mr. Pandaria. I've enjoyed my DK and things of that sort, but I always just go back to my warrior. Warriors are at a strange spot. I feel like we have gone through some of the most dynamic and drastic changes throughout the course of Alpha into Beta of Warlords of Draenor, and even from Mr. Pandaria into now Warlords of Draenor. Ability prune, all that inside, again, understanding every class has been hit with an ability prune, so everybody is hurting. We're all in a weird place, I feel like, where we're kind of just trying to struggle and figure out how the heck do we play our class, because so many of us for so long had so many fillers that, depending on what you were playing, for example, if an enhancement shaman, half the time there were so many things lit up on your bars that you didn't have enough time to press all of the skills and buttons you needed to make your class work. And I felt like warriors were in a similar spot, not entirely as much, but for sake of argument. But now, so many of us are in a place now where we have so many abilities gone, so many mechanics have changed and are gone. Diminishing returns have changed. So many abilities will share diminishing return. And that, it's just a whole brand new adjustment. So I'm giving room for that. I'm leaving room out there just to understand that that's a big adjustment. But with that segues into talking about some big things, and that is, of course, with Overpower being gone, Heroic Strike being prot only. You have to spec into Slam now. Rend is back. And then you look at our talent trees, and I feel like there's no synergy. Don't get me wrong, arms warriors do a lot of damage. My goodness, if you let an arms warrior stand still and just lay into you, you are going to be sorry. Bottom line. But there's really no synergy, and there's so many gaps in our rotation and our play that it's almost boring and sluggish. And I know the game itself very much so feels slow now compared to Mr. Pandaria on live, and that's what everybody's saying. It just feels slow. It feels slow. It feels slow. And if this is what they're going for, then sweet, they've achieved it, and we'll just have to adjust. And again, I'm not trying to complain. I'm not saying it's bad, because I'm still having fun. But I feel like warriors are in a place where no matter what we can do, every other class can do it better. Yes, we do a lot of damage, but healing as a whole right now is out of control in PvP. I feel like the damage to healing ratio is a bit off, and I know that things are being adjusted in tune. They just loaded out another beta build today where we got a little bit of a buff, which was nice. Originally I had said, and I think it's in one of my other videos, that I felt the 10% chance for sudden death to proc was too low. Now we have it back up to a 20% chance, and you feel the difference. Some of the footage going on in Ashran, and even some of the 2v2 skirmishes actually going on in the background here, but you see it big in Ashran. That sudden death is going off and popping and popping and popping and popping. I think at one point I got it to proc 3 or 4 times in a row and just lay executing with the target. It was kind of cool. It was kind of exciting, except for the fact that execute doesn't count for all the extra rage you have on. So we have all these abilities gone. We're not really doing enough damage compared to what healing is. I don't feel like we have the toolkit that we used to have. I liked that feeling of being so mobile, that if I needed to get somewhere or get on a target, gosh darn it, I could do it. Between banners and heroic leaps and charges, again, I could get on top of that target. I could put that pressure on the target that could sometimes change a game. And now, Shattering Throw is gone, but now we can glyph into Shattering Throw, and that's the least of our problems. But it feels like a forced waste of a glyph, because it's like, it's too useful of a skill not to take. So it feels like as a warrior now, you only have 2 glyph slots actually. I'm not thrilled about it. I'm happy to have the option of actually having it back as opposed to not having it all. I mean, I suppose beggars can't be choosers, but it seems like a cop-out. Some of our talents, again, in our level 90 bracket, I believe it is, with Avatar, Bloodbath, and Bladestorm. Bladestorm is rubbish right now, so you're basically going for either Avatar and Bloodbath. Bloodbath is cool every minute, but I feel like depending on how you time it, it doesn't really do an effective enough bleed. You can just heal through it. Avatar's too long of a cooldown for what it does. It doesn't feel like there's any synergy in our talents to our baseline. It just feels all over the place. I feel like warriors very obviously feel like they're the one class that Blizzard doesn't quite know what to do with us right now, and I feel like it shows, and it kind of hurts. Not like it hurts my feelings like I'm gonna sit in the corner and cry, but it hurts, I feel like, in the sense of it hurts our gameplay. It makes it very hard to be competitive. I feel like warriors are back in a place now where we are going to have to work harder than other classes to be as competitive and be as useful in situations. Whether it's, and most of this I suppose I should say is coming from an angle of PvP. I rarely PvE. I do challenge modes. I'll do, of course, dungeons while leveling up, and I'll do and enjoy LFR. So if all this is completely irrelevant for PvE, then please disregard it. Fury, they got rid of Colossus Smash to try to reduce the time you spend trying to cram all your damage into one window. That short, 6-second or so window. They want you to be able to do as much damage as you can throughout the course of just, swinging your swords like a wild man. Well, then increase damage. Fury doesn't do enough damage right now to justify it. If Fury did a little bit more damage, it would be good, but it doesn't. My other big problem with warriors right now, and I know this one might cross that line of QQ, but just hear me out here on this one, and I'm not trying to, complain. I don't want to be a god class, because I remember what it was like to play a warrior at the beginning of Mist of Pandaria, where we would one-shot everything because of stacks and stacks of Taste of Blood and just dropping massive heroic strikes on people. That wasn't fun because there was no challenge. Nothing could kill you. Nobody wanted to play with you because you were just a scumbag. I'm not looking to be godlike, but I don't want to die instantly because a couple stealthies jump out at me either. The biggest problem, I feel like warriors have so little survivability and ways to defend themselves now. We have, Die with the Sword, which is still good. I mean, don't get me wrong. We have our Fear, but if you want, you can spec into Siegebreaker, which will replace Intimidating Shout, and it isn't worth it at all. It's a garbage talent that does barely any damage. The only way I can see it being good is if you were good enough to time it to where you were able to knock back your target into your hunter traps or something, but even then it's such a gimmick and such a cheeseball move and so situational, it is not worth losing your Intimidating Shout. You still have Defensive Stance, which causes you to take 20% less damage instead of 25, which is fine, but you can't fight anything. You're literally turtling so hard and just trying to stay alive that you become useless. And even then, struggling to stay alive is rough because you only have a couple defensive abilities at that point. You can glyph for a Rallying Cry, which causes all damage you do to leech 20% of that damage and heal you a little bit more while you're doing that, so that kind of adds some interesting gameplay mechanics. But it feels as though we're kind of useless without a healer keeping us alive, which I suppose is okay, having a pocket healer around, but it's not necessarily the most fun. I feel like originally the idea that Blizzard had, one of the original patches that they had for Warlords of Draenor, where basically warriors would do increased damage as they got closer to dying. That was a cool thought. That was a cool idea. I like that, because it was the idea of basically you're not supposed to be this brilliant tactician. You're a warrior. You are swinging your blades like a madman, trying to cleave and cut down anything you can as quick as you can. Definitely like that the abilities that we do have hit hard. Mortal Strike hits hard. Rend, if you let it fully tick down, it does do a decent amount of damage. Slam, if you spec into it, it does hit hard. If you get the full 2 stacks up, it's cool. Execute finally actually does what it's supposed to and does damage. Execute can hit flipping hard, but there's a little bit of an imbalance there in our gameplay, I feel. Don't get me wrong, this isn't enough to make me drop the class entirely. I love it too much. I've invested too much time into it. Nothing else is as fun. Everything else either feels too weak or too gimmicky. It's just not my play style. You know, so many reasons. Our armor looks better than everybody else's, just saying. But this is a weird time and a weird spot for warriors again, and I know there's a lot of classes and people out there saying, oh, it's about time warriors get knocked back down again, and you know what? Alright, fine. We had a good run in Mystic Pandaria. But I don't want to feel irrelevant, and I don't want to feel easily replaced, because it does not make gameplay exciting. And again, all of this could change tomorrow, who knows? This is, and maybe I'm wasting my time throwing this up there. Maybe, you know, everything could change tomorrow and it's going to be null. Well, then that's cool. We'll see what happens. But if things stay the way they are, you know, a couple big hitting skills, filling in gaps with spamming Whirlwind, which is completely impractical because it's not a skill you want to use all the time. God forbid you're next to someone who's CC'd and you have to fill that gap in with a Whirlwind. Sucks to be you. But I'm still hopeful. I'm not picking up my warrior and hating every time I play it. But just some problems that I see with warrior gameplay where we're at, but trying to leave enough room to remember that we're all in a state of volatile just flux right now, of everything is so different that we're kind of freaking out. Hopefully it'll be as fun as promised. So far, Warlords of Draenor is shaping up to be a fun looking expansion. With that, I'm going to end this video. Feel free to leave your opinion, your 2 cents in the comment section. Let me know what you think of warriors, if you play a warrior, if you fought against them. You know, what are your thoughts, things like that. Definitely love to hear it from you. Keep it constructive, please. I'm not looking to start a flame war over this, but of course it is always fun to hear from you guys and what you think. So with that, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.